how are you? Have a quick question for you. I got a friend of a friend of another friend and they want me to make a logo for them. How much should I charge?
So I was planning to film here, but there's a ton of wind, so let me try to find a better location. But first, B-roll.
These are some of the things we expect with summer.
What's up? I'm Chris Ellinas and this is my second vlog. Today we're talking about pricing. I get this question asked a lot from friends and colleagues. How much should I be charging? It's something that we don't learn in school, and as creatives we struggle so much naming the price. And even when we do, we are not quite sure about it. I'm working as a freelancer / solopreneur for the last 5 years. I worked for smaller and bigger companies and had clients from all around the world. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, but I want to share my thinking process and the method that I use to calculate my price. Hopefully, after watching this video, you can do it too.
At the start, I was doing the exact same thing, asking around, searching for things like how much does a logo cost, trying to fill out the price. And I was never getting a clear answer because designers can charge for a logo from $5 to $50,000 and even more. It seems strange at the beginning, but it's completely logical because your price is relevant to your skills, market, and cost of living. So don't start by comparing yourself with other designers. It's good to know what your friend is charging, but he's not you. Even if you think that your skills and cost of living is similar, you should never charge the same amount for all your projects, no matter how similar they are, because every client will value your work differently.
What I prefer to do is, instead of starting directly thinking about pricing a potential project, I leave this as my final step. And I start by thinking about my annual income. Before I even get a potential client, my first step will be to define my yearly goal, and from there reverse engineer my way back in order to calculate the price for my project by asking questions like, how can I get there? How many hours per day I need to work? How many projects per month I need to do?
Defining this goal is very personal to everyone's situation, depending on your location and the country you live in. Are you living by your own, or you have a family to take care? Are you working by yourself, with a team? Do you have employees, or you are an employee? A yearly revenue of 20k is huge to someone, but very small to someone else. So don't get literally the figures I will use as examples, but adjust them to your circumstances.
I start by finding the point at which total cost and total revenue are equal, your break-even point. Or, as I like to refer it, the survival number. You have no loss or gain. This is exactly how much you need in order to just survive. Again, I'm not an accountant or a financial advisor, and I'm probably getting a lot of the terminology wrong. If I do, let me know in the comments. But I will also have links in the description with more complete articles.
In order to determine your price, one big factor is your skills and how those will help your potential clients. Are you a junior, a mid, or a senior designer? Obviously, having more experience can lead to a bigger payment. Keep in mind that having general skills in a global scale with competitors on Upwork and Fiverr that charge only $5 means that you are forced to charge really low. It's a race to the cheapest. Try to target markets with bigger fees and less competition.
In order to find that number, you'll need to divide your fixed cost with your gross margin. In simpler words, you need to find your business expenses that you'll spend in order to get through the year, like rent, internet, groceries, car expenses, gear and equipment. If you have employees, a domain name, a server, the Adobe Creative Cloud, websites like Shutterstock, and of course, taxes.
I don't know how things are in your country, but here in Greece, bureaucracy can make you mad. Not only is very complex and time consuming to start and run a business, but very expensive too. For me right now, I need to pay 24% of my revenue, 22, 29, 37 or 45% of my income, depending on my previous income, 168 euros or 27% each month, depending again on my previous income, 650 at the end of the year, around 100 to start, and 400 to 600 per year for an accountant.
Now figure out your profit margin. This is the percentage of profit you're going to make after making a sale. For example, if I sell a logo for 1k and after taxes I get left with 500, my profit margin is 50%. Yours will be different, of course. If you are selling graphic t-shirt, for example, you'll also need to calculate the cost of printing and buying the actual shirts. What's left to do is to divide your fixed cost by 0.5 if your percentage is 50%. If it's 40%, then divide it by 0.4 and so on. Do you get the idea? And here you have it, the total amount you need to make in a year in order to survive.
There are 4 basic ways to estimate a price. I would like to make a more detailed video sharing the pros and cons of each one of them, but briefly you have the hourly rate that you charge per hour, the date rate where you get paid by the day, the project rate where you charge based on the project, and finally you have the value-based pricing. A lot of us think that we are using this method, but it's really hard to use it as a freelancer because normally we are hired to do a very specific task. I'm using the project-based fee, but I always have the value pricing in mind, so I can ask questions to the client to determine what is the value that the project will bring to him.
Now you need to divide your break-even point with your hourly rate, and you know how many hours you need to work in order to get there. What I prefer to do is instead divide it by 12. This way I know how much money I need to make every month, and alongside how many projects I need to create. Anything you make past this number will be a profit. So now, based on the goal you have defined this year, adjust this number accordingly. You can get to that number by doing 10 projects, 5, 2 or only 1. You can even do a bigger project that will take you 2 or 3 months to complete. That's definitely up to you and the budget of your client.
Size up your potential client. I like to divide them in 3 basic categories. Small businesses, usually local with a small number of employees, medium businesses and startups that usually have a plan/strategy and a decent budget in mind, and larger companies that are known nationally, have a lot of employees and usually have an in-house designing team. The most part of my clients are in the second category, but those last couple of years I moved up in the third category in some cases.
First time I did that equation, I was surprised on how large my expenses and how small my profit was at the end of the year. I realized that I was making a lot of projects but charging really low. When your client asks you why are you charging that much, I want a better price, if you're coming up with a price based on feeling, then you probably don't know why you're charging that much, and you will explain yourself by saying things like you're paying for research and stuff like that. But if you have a clear goal and you know that by working for less, probably your survival is at stake, you will be confident, sure about your price, and even if you don't get the job, you'll know that you win, because you didn't lose time working for something that in the end will not be profitable for you. When it comes to pricing, I like to take a more logical and mathematical approach. If you get overwhelmed with that type of calculation, maybe find a way that works better for you. Just remember to set an annual goal based on your expenses and then break it into smaller goals that you can achieve along the year. Let me know in the comments if that kind of video helps you and you want to see more. Hopefully the next time someone asks you for your price, you'll know exactly how much you need. You will be calm, confident, and no matter what the outcome will be, you'll know that you took the right decision.